Hi guys, this is Blaze J3 and welcome to my channel or welcome back to my channel. It pretty much depends. So today I really was wanting to talk about Luffy in Wano as of right now and his new move that could be possible and his potential awakening. Okay, so really what led me towards this is I remember in my past One Piece discussions months before One Piece went to Wano and all this stuff, and we learned about Ryogoro's type of shockwave that he could do because it's much different from Rayleigh's that we've seen. Rayleigh, we really haven't seen him actually use Haki in a way that he does like hardening or vulcanization basically. But in this guy in Wano, he did it and he basically kind of charged it into his hand and then released it and did a shockwave. And I knew this was gonna happen. Like I honestly did. You can go back in my One Piece discussions and months before this came out, either in the manga, I knew it was gonna happen. It was gonna be a move that Luffy is gonna potentially learn, and here we are in Wano, and he's pretty much going to basically learn how to do that, how to do a shockwave. And I like I said, it wasn't like some wild guess or something. It was a very detailed guess of why I thought Luffy was gonna get it. So basically, in terms of a new move, I was thinking, okay, so this is going to be something that's really powerful in terms of defense and offensive capabilities for Luffy. Luffy is more, he's a hands-on character. He's not one of those types of guys to pretty much sit there and he can't really do too many ranged attacks. So he's pretty much just prone to either hit you right up front or stretch out or something like that along those lines. But we already know how Luffy is. Okay, so I was thinking about this. Okay, as of now in Wano with the whole situation with what's his name, Kaido and Blackbeard possibly taking control, possibly wanting to take control over the Yonkos, because you already know that Blackbeard, he wants power. Okay, it's possible. Big Mom is in Wano right now. The best possible place for him to take over right now would probably be Totland. So, in terms of Luffy, how is Luffy really gonna fight him? Like at all? Blackbeard really pretty has Whitebeard's fruit, and I forgot the name of it. I want to say the dark fruit. If that's not the name, I'm sorry. But okay, so it's like, okay, well, how is Luffy really going to fight him? Even with possibilities that Blackbeard might get Kaido's fruit or might possibly want it. How is he going to do it? Well, I was thinking that using this new to us, basically, well, new to y'all because I kind of knew it, but no, I don't want to flex like that. But basically, using this move with Haki can really change the battlefield because, as we saw Rayleigh do it, Rayleigh was able to even not get touched by that elephant when him and Luffy were on that island where Luffy was training for 2 years, or during that time skip. So it was like, okay, well, that solves the problem somewhat, not a lot, but somewhat. Not only can he deflect attacks, but the thing that Blackbeard actually uses, like the thing that he grabs onto Devil Fruit users and pulls them towards him, basically like a vortex, basically. And it's like, okay, well, not necessarily Luffy can just bam. I mean, you could just say, okay, yeah, Luffy can just bam send a shockwave, but in terms of how it's done, it's going to be kind of different because Luffy is a whole different character altogether. His motto in dealing with his fruit and his body, he has to do a lot of compression. Over the years, we've seen it a lot. We've seen it with Gear 2. Gear 2 is pretty much just him compressing a part of his body to send a lot of blood throughout his body to get faster, to get stronger. And that's just really, I don't want to say a ripoff, but he's replicating Soru. And Soru was basically, I think it's one of the powers that people in the world government learn. It's one of them. I want to say it's like 7 powers, maybe 5. I forgot. But yeah, it's one of those types of moves. With Gear 4, he pretty much basically compresses his whole like arm into itself in order to make it faster, stronger, all this and that to make it stretch out. Luffy is capable of thinking up some really good moves and ways to use his body than never before. And we're gonna see that really with this new potential, well, not potential. We're going to see that with the shockwave. We're going to. He's going to use it in a way that we didn't even think about. And what I was thinking about is this could lead to his potential awakening, and how. Well, we already saw that the current Haki that we have, with Luffy has, and Dressrosa, when he was fighting Doflamingo, we saw when Luffy was transforming into Gear 4, we saw a little a transparent devil fruit, his devil fruit. And we saw it as Luffy was going into Gear 4, the little red marks that appear in his body, it was also appearing around his devil fruit. And it was, I would say, more like 75% covered, which means it was entailing to that he's kind of close to awakening what all his fruit can do. So learning something else about Haki will greatly, I mean greatly, influence him to actually awakening his fruit. And how shockwaves will help. In my past videos discussions about One Piece, I was thinking, okay, oh yeah, he can learn this new move and that with, how they do the I really forgot what that move's called. Oh, where he used fire. I can remember any other time, but you know what I'm talking about. It's basically like it's a jet pistol basically, but he lights it on fire. I'll remember it later. But anyway, in terms of it, people were thinking that his awakening was going to be somewhat like Doflamingo's, where he could turn surfaces around him into bouncy stuff and he can get faster. That's not, I mean, okay, thinking of it as a trampoline or something, I mean, that's not going to really do too much on speed, honestly. What really could happen to potential on, I don't know, it's just, it doesn't really fit Luffy that, not that well, honestly. He's a character to move in this and jump around and all this stuff, but what's the purpose of really like changing the ground around him to bounce on? I mean, that's just kind of defeats the purpose of it. I mean, I don't know. That's just me. It was a possible idea in my past video, but I heard it from an outside source and I kind of thought about it. But as of now, with this new move, I'm thinking of it like this. Okay, I was thinking of elasticity, and let's go on the basis of Fishman Haki. I know it's not the same thing, but let's go on the basis of Fishman Haki. When you use Haki, basically, you're using the elasticity in the air to grab the water, and it sends out a shockwave. We've seen Jinbei do it plenty of times. We've seen the guy in what's that group called? The group Sabo in. Like I said, I forgot these words. I wanted to get more prepared with these words, but it doesn't matter. You know what I'm talking about. That guy, that is he a lion or something, like a tiger or whatever the freak he is. The guy who does Fisherman Karate in the that group. I forgot it. We've seen it what Fisherman Karate can pretty much do in terms of elasticity. And I was thinking, okay, well, what about Rayleigh when he uses possible Haki, or maybe whatever it is, whatever it's gonna be. So we've seen him pretty much deflect the elephant. I was like, okay, him doing any karate motions. So it's probably using the elasticity of his Haki to gather it like directly in front of his palm and just burst it. And I was thinking, okay, well, we don't see any vulcanization on Rayleigh, so how is he doing it? Well, I was thinking of it like this. Think about Avatar: The Last Airbender. Remember when Uncle Iroh had developed the lightning from from looking at the water tribes water bending, and he developed the actual lightning bending. Remember that, okay? Well, think about it in the terms of Rayleigh. Maybe he learned it from another either type of Haki or another source from somewhere else and used it to develop his own type of he probably learned it from Fishman Karate or something else to develop his own move or something, to make something new out of something else, basically. And I was like, okay, okay. I was thinking, okay, well, how can we not see it? Because we usually see vulcanization and using black arms and all that stuff. We always see it in other characters, especially when they use it. And it's like, okay, well, how's he doing it? Well, one thing I want to notice, put out for you to notice, was Conqueror's Haki. And what makes that so important is we never truly see Conqueror's Haki until two people with it clash. And with that, we always see what is it? A shockwave of sorts. And it's not just some type of exaggeration on the screen. It's literal a shockwave that actually blows back air around the two people fighting and all that stuff. We saw it when Doflamingo and Luffy were fighting. We saw it when Luffy and I forgot that guy's name. What's that guy's name? You know what I'm talking about. In the Coliseum on Dressrosa. The guy with the pointy head, but it was dented when he came in there. You know what I'm talking about? That guy. When they had Conqueror's Haki and they were fighting. We saw it. And what I'm thinking is, it's a fusion between Armament Haki and Conqueror's Haki. Basically. Because it's invisible. We can't really see what's going on with Rayleigh's arms. And I was like, okay. So that's probably what Rayleigh's doing. It's a way to use Conqueror's Haki in a way more offensively, because the only thing we've seen with Conqueror's Haki is you're able to inflict your will upon someone to pretty much make them pass out, or at least the people who actually have a small will, so to speak. Others with a strong will are able to pretty much just get either a little bit affected by it or sometimes nothing at all because their will is so strong. And I was thinking, okay, what if you can take this a bit further? Instead of actually doing that, what if you could actually hit them with a shockwave? And I was like, okay, that makes more sense, right? At least to me. And just looking at it, it was like, okay, so what kind of possible new move could this entail for Luffy? Okay. So I was thinking, with how Luffy deals with compression all the time, just imagine this. We already got Blackbeard on the battlefield whenever the whole full battle is going to happen. We already got him on the battlefield. He can pretty much reach into the air, cause earthquakes, all that stuff, in the sea, on the land, all that. Now, this is going to be pretty much just exaggerated, is what I'm saying. Think about it. And think of Luffy. He pretty much, like, what, at most Gear 2, probably in his regular self, he reaches back. You see the air around his elbow, like, full on, like, bend around his arm. And you're like, whoa, what's happening? Does he have Whitebeard's fruit too? You know somebody's going to stir it up like that. And then he just, bam, just launches it. And at the end, like, it's like, okay, so it's not necessarily using the shockwave, but it's using the elasticity. I think that's going to be, like, his potential awakening. Not using the elasticity on, like, the ground to, like, make that rubber so he just bounce on it, but using elasticity in the air as well, or just maybe just in the air, in terms of, you know, I guess just his awakening of how he can fully utilize it, and how it can like actually change the environment, because we already know elasticity in the air is possible. Fishman karate is there. So maybe Luffy's gonna learn something from that, utilize it, and like I'm just saying, it's possible. It could literally happen. Like, just imagine he reaches his arm back and then it just fires it like Blackbeard, and way faster than like Luffy's Snake Man, like his python in there. Like, seriously, I mean, I'm just like literally imagine that, and then just bam, just fires at him, and at the end of it, he could probably like do some type of shockwave like directly out of his fist, and bam. And this awakening move could potentially be more of a defensive capability for Luffy as well, because we already know that Luffy can handle blunt damage very easily. He bounces bullets off of him constantly. Like, punches barely do anything to him unless they're with Haki or something, or like fire, or like some type of element that can actually hurt him, or like a pointed weapon that can hurt Luffy. But just imagine he's actually on the battlefield, and instead of it deflecting off him, he was able to control like the literal air around him, where the attacks don't even touch him anymore. Like, you can literally see the bullet or a sword bend the air, and it just reflects back at them like that. And I was like, oh, that would make a lot more sense than just having some wacky type of thing like turning the ground into rubber. That wouldn't make sense at all. It just really wouldn't make sense for Luffy. He's not that type of character. But this is something where we already know that the gum fruit is not the most powerful fruit, but we've seen how Luffy can pretty much utilize it in battle. It's not something to be taken lightly. Okay? And with this possible awakening, with using this type of Haki, he could probably learn to use the Haki first, implement it. And I was thinking, okay, well, how would he use it? I was thinking, okay, either he can throw a gum gum jet pistol at somebody, and right at the end of his punch, once it makes contact with the person, he just sends out a massive shockwave and it just punches him back even further, even faster, and all that. Or either he can just like, I still can't remember the name of that move. The thing where he sets his arm on fire, basically. He can put the shockwave at the end of his elbow to further accelerate it. Something like that. While in like gear 2 or something, or gear 1, it doesn't really matter. But this way, he doesn't have to keep reverting to gear 4. Gear 4 is more of a powerhouse, but he can still do more powerhouse moves while just using gear 4, like, well, Grizzly Magnum. That's still powerful. Now, is it just as powerful as gear 4? No. Like I said, he still uses compression. He basically presses his whole like arm on itself to pretty much do that, and muscle and all this. I mean, he blows air into his muscles. I'm telling you, it's more powerful than Gear 3, like Grizzly Magnum. But it's still, I mean, just imagine it. He won't have to use Gear 4 anymore. And if he does, it's like, I mean, for what? I mean, seriously, for what? He would literally just be able to walk around and just not even get hit, and it would just be so freaking amazing. And I'm telling you, it's gonna be something along the lines of that. He's either probably gonna learn a move of Fishman Karate. We're not gonna be seeing like him doing any like full on, Mortal Kombat stance or something on the battlefield, and he learns it from Jinbei whenever the freak Jinbei comes on the freaking Sunny. I don't know when, but no, I'm just saying that Luffy's gonna learn it at some point. He might learn like how to do a shockwave, not shockwave, but how to implement it in his palm at least, or how to, maybe he's gonna learn something from Jinbei, maybe along the lines of that, to implement it in the air. And then his awakening will be him just be able to just do it, like in a way of like how Whitebeard would bend the air, like how Luffy can do that with just stretching back, and you see the air wrap around his elbow, and then it just fires it way faster, something like that. But of course, Real Goro, this is all thanks to him because he actually showed Luffy that it's possible to do it with vulcanization. But maybe, like I said, Rayleigh is probably using Conqueror's Haki and armament in a mix. But it's still, like I said, it's great that you're able to actually do it with just regular armament. But I'm pretty sure that with the shockwave that you can get from Conquerors that we've seen before, it's probably going to amplify it. And that's probably what Rayleigh is doing. I really have high hopes for Luffy and his new moveset. And like I said, this isn't more like a stretch. It is not like something that you could say, oh, that's not going to happen. It sounds plausible. We've seen it plenty of times in the story before. Not like the actual move of what I'm talking about, but we've seen something similar and along the lines of elasticity, compression. It fits Luffy's motto. It fits what he's really gonna do, and I'm sorry, it's really what I think is really gonna happen. It's a pretty much like a great way to, I don't want to say end off the story, but I guess make the king of the pirates untouchable in a sense, because as of now he can't even. Okay, I barely even thought about that. He can't even touch a Kainu. He can't. I mean, he can touch, what's his name? The guy who likes Sylvester Stallone. I know these are two different ones. He can somewhat touch the guy who likes Sylvester Stallone. That admiral, Kizaru. He can touch him because we've seen Rayleigh do it, but you probably, of course, he's using observation Haki to fire them and all this stuff, and armament, of course. But we, like, even with that, with Rayleigh, he didn't use vulcanization. So it's like, okay, so he is probably using a mixture between conquerors and armament, where to the point where it's actually invisible, and not only does it protect you at the same time, but it uses a further opposing force to push back the enemy. Of course, Rayleigh probably wasn't using that much of his strength. Now, of course, he is older, but still, he's way more powerful than that. He didn't even break a sweat. So yeah, it's possible for Luffy to really be able to do it. I really do think he's going to be able to do it. But when he's facing someone like against a Kainu, people are thinking like, okay, at some point, Luffy's probably going to face a Kainu. I mean, the guy killed his brother right in front of him. He's probably going to want revenge. Do I think he's going to kill him? No. Luffy's not like that. He might. It might surprise us. He might. But I don't think that's how it's going to go down. It just doesn't fit Luffy at all. But in terms of touching him, you can do absolutely nothing to a Kainu unless you yourself have a distinct ability that can do something to him, or you're also another Logia user. But even with that, we've also seen him die from. We also seen Ace die. He was a Logia user, but in terms of like an opposing force, Ace was pretty much just dead. I mean, I don't know. I mean, of course, I would imagine that Akainu's fruit is pretty much a one up of Ace's, because Ace is just fire, but I mean, he has freaking magma, hot, hot magma, and it can catch fire. So oh crap, wait, crap, crap. Oh, okay, sorry. But let alone stay close to, you can't even stand close to Akainu. Like, I don't understand it. When he's in that state, you can't even stand close to him. You're gonna catch fire. So Luffy won't even have to worry about that. He can just hit him with a shockwave and just, I guess, keep hitting him with it. I mean, imagine like a jet gatling of like shockwaves, just bah, 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 just like hit him into the ground or something. I don't know, but just imagine that. But I really think that it's a very plausible way that you can really go about this. And Oda, he may or may not have this exact move or something close to it, but shockwaves, I don't want to say, oh yeah, I thought that up, but I literally said this months ago. I think even a year ago I said something like this. I had this debate in like 2 videos before, but we actually have like solid proof now. And no, I've been caught up with Wano. I just thought about this move more like 5 days ago, and I was thinking, how was I gonna put this into a video? But I really do think this should have just been a live stream to really have a way to think of it off the head, a somewhat script, but then not really a script. Because I mean, if it's just a few things to remind me what to talk about. But yeah, I'm serious. It's a waste for him to get back at Akainu, to basically, I don't want to say yeah be untouchable, but yeah basically be untouchable and have a new attack that you don't always have to get physical with. You don't even have to hit him now. Like, seriously. And that'll be awesome. That'll be really, really awesome. I think I would really enjoy it. But yeah. So guys, that's pretty much today's video about One Piece. I think it's a pretty awesome discussion. Like, it's something that, I really think that could happen. But so subscribe to my channel, like the video. I might do another video about One Piece, because I kind of had a feeling myself that I've been doing a lot of gaming, and of course a lot of the gaming is like anime based, but I feel that it kind of reverted to what my channel wasn't really about in the beginning. That's why I wanted to make this discussion, because I still do what my channel was about when I first started it, but I just started being able to game, and I want to do that as well. But it's nice to really go back to what I was doing before. So yeah, like the video, subscribe to my channel, share it with your friends, cause especially One Piece fans. But this really does seem possible. But yeah, see you guys later until the next video.